Get out of the way, get out of the way.
Allez, allez.
Are you injured? You're okay, are you? No, it's fine.
Il y a 2 blessés graves à terre.
We have 2 men down. What do you want? I have an injured officer with a bullet in the thigh. 2 ambulances, please. 2 ambulances.
Following the attacks on the 7th and 8th of January, France mobilized record numbers of troops to support the police and the gendarmerie in protecting the country's sensitive points. Within a few days, the armed forces multiplied their deployed military personnel tenfold. Teams from Journal de la Défense were able to follow the different stages of this unprecedented mobilization in Ile de France on the ground.
This extremely violent shooting has killed 12 people and injured several others.
7th of January 2015. After the shooting at the Charlie Hebdo offices, the attackers fled and the French president announced immediate troop reinforcements.
We must also protect all public places, so the government has set up what is called the Vigipirate attack plan. That's to say, the security forces will be deployed everywhere where there may be a nascent threat.
Following this announcement, units from all over France started to mobilize.
Preparations for this operation started yesterday evening. 150 personnel in the capital. I was given the order yesterday at 1800 hours to take a plane and get to Paris as quickly as possible. I arrived this evening leading 100 men. I was put on alert yesterday at about 1500 hours, and I arrived immediately in Paris. We got our stuff together and went to the ground floor. We were to be accompanied by the Air Force. We took the bus and went to the Creil Air Base. We picked up our gear down there, and now we'll see, depending on what exactly they give me.
Within hours, the first reinforcements came to the capital to secure the key points. Two days later, the police and gendarmerie were involved in a joint action in Dammartin and Paris. Throughout this time, the procedure was being scaled up in the capital. On the 11th of January, 1,450 soldiers were on a war footing. In 3 days, the numbers deployed were multiplied threefold. At the head of this emergency deployment was the military governor of Paris, commander of the Ile de France Defense and Security area, and also military advisor to the police commissioner.
Today, Sunday, with the huge demonstration of support that will bring together many personalities and demonstrators, we stood in for the police and gendarmerie in their patrol positions. We ensured that the demonstration would pass off safely.
On the one hand, it's reassuring because at least we feel secure, but it also means that there is a threat. So it's a bit scary. But I think we're safe in France, and even more so in Beaugrenelle, where there are soldiers, so it's fine.
Cooperation is going pretty well with the soldiers. We communicate a lot. We explain the different access routes into the centre to them, how we work on our side, where the centre's strategic locations are in relation to tourist sites.
On the 12th of January, 5 days after the attacks, the Minister of Defense made a shock announcement.
We've decided with the Army Chief of Staff to mobilize 10,000 men to protect sensitive points throughout the country from tomorrow night. This is the first time a mobilization of our forces on this scale has taken place in our country.
This unique deployment is an inland operation, which brings together as many men as all French overseas operations. The challenge is exceptional.
The deployment is guided by our hosting capabilities. Once the deployment has been completed, we shall re-optimize the procedure based on the missions when the mission is stabilized. For the time being, we're pushing forward.
L'objectif, c'est systématiquement mission prise et dans la foulée, désengager de Satori et virer ailleurs.
These unprecedented maneuvers are being supervised from Saint-Germain-en-Laye, the brains and the beating heart of the operation.
For 5 days, the Saint-Germain Operations Center has been in the driving seat, producing initial projections and reinforcing Vigipirate. This is a scenario that we all understand, and it is vital that we're ready. The engagement in the country is complicated, it's difficult, but it is part of the top priority of our missions as soldiers. So, regarding Montrouge, I'm asking you for your permission to reconfigure this group on another mission. How long have you been at the helm? Since the beginning of the crisis? We'll need to keep going then.
At the same time, by the Satori camp at Versailles, teams are working hard to manage the logistics and accommodate an average of 1,000 soldiers a day. The units arrive with their standard equipment. They're also being provided with additional elements, bulletproof jacket, helmets, combat rations, and other specific items.
This site regularly provides accommodation for the 14th of July, so we're used to having significant numbers every year at the same time in a much more stable and organized way. However, this is the first time that we've had such numbers at such short notice in such a concentrated flow, so you need to implement a well-understood, speedy response.
The Satori camp is a must for military personnel sent to Ile de France before returning to their area of action or before they're hosted at other sites.
Here you have a 24-hour structure which can accommodate up to 2,000 people at any time, with heated accommodation, health, etc. However, to overcome potential infrastructure problems, or if too many people arrive all at once, we can deploy additional field resources to provide hot showers and tents.
A few kilometers away, the teams are in place on the ground.
From yesterday evening, the President of the Republic entrusted the army with the mission of protection and security of a number of Jewish religious sites. So from this morning, we've been providing protection for 44 schools in Paris intramuros and gradually 2 other Jewish sites.
Within days, in addition to the police and gendarmerie, more than 10,000 troops were mobilized in France, 6,000 in Paris, a first.
We met at Bossangoa at the start of this operation. Good morning.
The
contract provided by the White Paper and the military planning law requires our armies to be able to mobilize and deploy 10,000 men in the country to protect the national territory within 1 week. Our armies achieved this in 3 days. It's remarkable. The 3 operations that we're carrying out abroad and the operation inside the country are the same. The enemy is the same. The enemy of freedom and security, jihadi groups that we need to fight with great determination. This operation will be maintained with very significant resources that we will mobilize for as long as this threat is real.
On site, each group provides 24-hour surveillance. As in overseas operations, the men are equipped to deal with any emergency. Weight of the bulletproof jacket and the FAMAS, about 10 kilos. And on patrol, a soldier can walk up to 30 kilometers in a day.
I take my hat off to them because it really is not easy to be on guard like that 24 hours a day, even if they work in shifts, whether it's the national police or the military. And it's tiring because they're standing all day long. That's tiring, but hats off to them. Hats off to the army and the national police.
10 days after the attacks, on the ground and in the operations center, the watchword is the same: keep it together.
The guys will be tired. That means you have to be in it for the long haul. It means that you have to have a very clear idea of the state of fatigue and wear of your men. It's the vigilance of the guys on patrol, on duty, on the move that will probably mean an attack can be avoided. Because the threat is not going to drop. All indicators are on red. There is indeed a lot of fatigue. When we make people work 3 8-hour shifts, or if we require major movements, we have units stationed in Bretigny, so every day they take the bus to central Paris. This is all time that they're not spending resting in bed.
Although the soldiers must remain vigilant for incidents or threats on a daily basis, the main goal has been achieved: to protect and reassure the population.
You go around here, you don't go past this building. That door over there are people entering and leaving it. It must be closed permanently. From time to time you must go and check, because there's a lot of coming and going. People are often surprised. They say hello, they say they're surprised and also happy to see us. It reassures them. We even sometimes receive small gifts. There are some who bring us food. That's always nice. I've been in the reserves for 15 years, so it's true that missions like this one, especially since it's the first in which we've released the reservists so quickly, we're proud to be here.
Tourist sites, institutions, places of worship, railway stations and airports. Since the 14th of January, the army has been securing and protecting 320 sites in Ile de France. The code name of the operation, Sentinelle.